Good morning all and welcome to Redwood Academy's annual speech contest 2022. Our adjudicators for today are Madam Munshi and Madam Ali from Lenasia Secondary School. Our adjudicators boast decades of experience in the teaching profession and have added to their titles numerous accomplishments in different spheres of their life. And they bear testimony to the outstanding passion and excellence that they provide in all that they journey toward. Our highly experienced adjudicators today will be giving a summation of the entire speech contest at the end of the speech contest. We will now be starting with Division 5, which are the grade 8s. First up is Molemo Matlosa, who will be enlightening us on drug addiction.
Good morning, all you respected principal, teachers, and students. Thank you for being here with me today. The topic I bring for you today is drug addiction. Today's youth to addiction has drawn my attention. Drugs are chemical substances that people use to feel a little tipsy. Well, it depends on what kind of drugs you are talking about. Legal drugs and illegal drugs. Wow, legal drugs are medications that people use when they have a problem like headache, body ache, etc. The illegal drugs, on the other hand, are substances that people use to feel intoxicated or drunk. This helps them to relieve stress. Usage of such drugs is illegal and can harm your body. It can affect you mentally. Young people often start with just tasting of these drugs and end up being addicted to them. Wow, they do it because of unfair expectations and stress. The drugs make them feel high, but drugs can cause liver damage and more. Students also get into drugs when they fail to gain emotional support. Drug dealers target students. Entirely, they give students for free at once. They get addicted. They also make poor kids sell it for free to get for some cash. Also, drug makes students mentally and physically weak. It also attracts various viruses and diseases, and it makes it harder to recover. In the end, I would request you to stay away from drugs. Drugs may look nice, but they are not. Drugs can destroy your future, and it can't be destroyed because you are the future. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Shahil Subhan, who will be telling us about the good old days.
Good morning, everyone. Back in the day, the good old days, BC, before COVID, before that dastardly pandemic slapped us in the face, hits harder than mom's food. The days where the term antivirus referred to something that would protect my computer, not me being scanned and sanitized everywhere. This makes me wonder, once we heard the news that the global coronavirus would be crippling the world, so many people went out to purchase soap. I wonder what they used before. Yeah, the good old days. The days before when once a sneeze was promptly responded by a bless you, not the murderous and pitiful stares that you get as though you plan to cause total anarchy against all life on earth. I remember going with my father to the local supermarket. Pandemonium. There were queues and crowds everywhere, stenches and boo. I am so certain that there is this concept called social distancing. We get to the food house and for once, the only shelves that were well stocked were the candy. I wonder if isolation gave people upset stomachs because every visible trolley had piles and piles of toilet paper. Ironic. A few days at home with my family, I pondered, what could go wrong? And then bam, we were hit with level 4 lockdown. I stared at our empty, sad street. It was one filled with the neighborhood kids and ice cream trucks. However, is now as empty as the store shelf. It felt like an early 90s horror movie. Roll the tumbleweed, please. During level 4, I often asked myself if a symptom of the pandemic was raving lunatics sneaking around, chewing their fingernails, and terribly on edge. However, it was the drinkers and smokers who had no access to alcoholic beverages and cigarettes. Do you remember the good old days when you could go to school, socialize your friends, wonder what they did over the weekend? Now there's this famous Zoom and Teams meeting. It feels as though I'm in an episode of Big Brothers. Some privacy, please, people. I am amazed to see how many meetings my parents have and find it so humorous when my dad puts on his fancy tie and shirt while wearing flip-flops and his pajama shorts in order to look good for the virtual meetings. Virtual this, virtual that, hybrid this, hybrid that. Yeah, the good old days when international travel meant seeing a new country, not another side of my backyard. The days when we didn't walk around like Japanese assassins, concealing our faces. Well, with a face like this, who would want to cover up this excellent work of art? The days when I could eat an ice cream while strolling in the park with the cool wind breeze on a summer's day. The days where my skin didn't flake like shredded paper due to sanitizer. The coronavirus changed the world that we know. People refer to this as the new normal. I would like to term it the better normal. It's rather unfortunate that it took a virus of cataclysmic proportions to get us to wash our hands, spend more time with our families, give up smoking and drinking and other bad habits, to cover your coughs and sneezes, eat healthy, and appreciate the small little things that your parents and others do for you. The pandemic crippled economies, killed so many that are near and dear. It's nothing that we accepted, and people seem to adapt to it as though it's the new daily basis. I can't wait to get back to those good old days. That is, if we ever experience them again. But in order for that, I need your help. Go get vaccinated, keep your hands clean, maintain physical distances, cover up, and help me eradicate this horrid illness. I mean, after all, I feel dearly for you poor, poor souls who haven't had the chance, no, the honor to see this magnificent smile. Thank you.
So we're all familiar with the phrase, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Tala Umar is here to enlighten us about the Boerewors not being browner on the other side.
Thinking the Boerewors isn't always browner on the other side. Thinking of emigrating away from South Africa? We all know people who have made the leap, but it is not always what it is cracked up to be. In fact, sometimes things are actually much better here at home. Life in South Africa is pretty darn good if you ask me. We have the best weather, the best wildlife, the best people, and the most novel of inventions, like the Vuvuzela. The world needed to know what the most ungodly imaginable sound was. Now they know. But let the load shedding begin, and suddenly everyone wants to pack their bags and buy a one-way ticket to anywhere else. Usually, however, the reality is more like that old saying. Something might look nice from far, but once you get close, it is far from nice. For example, if you are a fan of things like daylight, sunshine, and sunflowers, do not move to London. You will never see these again, Governor. And for those living in the sandpit, aka the UAE, the move from Josie to Dubai isn't easy either. Just ask the Guptas. Did you know you can be deported and forced to leave the country for taking photos of a road accident? Ridiculous. You may also need to brush up on your Arabic and know more than just Yallah, habibi! Another thing, as soon as you leave South Africa, all of the zeros from your bank disappear. Thought you had some savings? Haha! Well, move to Australia and you'll discover that you don't, mate. What you have might as well be magic beans because you can't buy anything with it. Okay, let's take a break from the Aussies and talk about how South Africa are world class in doing just that. Taking a break. Did you know we have more public holidays than any country in the world? We are literally the best at doing nothing. If there was an Olympic event for not doing anything, we would be the only nation standing on the podium with medals around our necks, and we'd be in our pajamas. I think it all boils down to us South Africans being a little too hard on ourselves. We always think we could be doing better, but that's exactly what makes us so great. We are always improving, always trying, always setting new standards for ourselves. This nation produces world-class people, runs world-class businesses, conducts world-class scientific research, and does world-class public speaking. But we never give ourselves enough credit. In so many ways, as Tina Turner quite famously said, we are simply the best. It is time we start appreciating ourselves for the excellence we produce and the quality of our resources. Our richest deposits are not in the gold fields or in the diamond mines. They are in our neighborhoods, in our schools and workplaces. We have unlimited possibilities. So let's stop looking outside of ourselves to see how much better we could be. Instead, let's start looking inside of ourselves to see how great we already are. And let's face it, where else in the world can you buy newspapers, hats, and a cell phone chargers at a traffic light? And that's why I'm staying. I thank you.
Our next speaker, Kiran Pityachi, is here to educate us on the topic rape.
Did you know, out of the 10 countries that have the highest rape statistics, South Africa ranks 4th? The statement, can I start over? Did you know, out of the 10 countries that have the highest rape statistics, South Africa ranks 4th? Good day to my teachers and fellow peers. My topic for today is on rape. The statement just made and indicates a serious problem in South Africa, and the latest rape statistics for 2021 shows us that 39,330 rape cases were reported per every 1,000 people, per every 100,000 people. Although most rape cases involve victims averaging between 18 to 17 years and older, there's no set criteria for sexual predators to select their victims. Rape can take place at any time, anywhere, but the most common occurrences take place in isolated locations where the victim is most vulnerable and the perpetrator has the most advantage. The world's most notorious rapist, Reina Tingana, was convicted of 159 sexual offenses, including 136 rapes of young men between the years 2015 and 2017. Tingana was born in 1983 in Indonesia and was a holder of multiple degrees in engineering, science, and art. He would wait for men leaving bars and nightclubs in the early hours of the morning and then lure them to his flat where the assault takes place. His crimes were very cold and premeditated. Moses Sithole, South Africa's most notorious serial killer and rapist, was accused of 76 acts of rape and convicted of 38 confirmed cases that occurred between 1994 and 1995. His punishment handed down to him by South African jurisdictional system is 2,410 years in prison. Both of these cases and both of the predators and victims have little to no similarities, except the crimes they have committed and their lack of humanity. This leads to an important point, which is we should not stereotype against victims or rapists based on the sex, culture, race, or level of education. I've scoured and searched the internet to find the best preventative methods, and amongst hundreds of tips, I chose the two which I think could help. I know that this will not guarantee your safety, but it's always good to have precautionary measures. Tip number 1. Always be aware of your surroundings, whether you are with a group of friends, traveling, or driving home alone. If you notice any suspicious behavior or feel like you're in danger, trust your instincts and call someone you trust, or call the police. Tip number 2. Try to equip yourself with pepper spray or a taser, or even go for self-defense classes if you have to. Victims of rape should never feel ashamed or guilty. It is not their fault, and there are many support groups and centers that can help them. As a society, it's up to each and every one of us to help wherever we can and to speak out against rape and rapists. Let us remember that humanity is always defined by compassion, love, and kindness. Thank you all for your time.
Our next speaker, Tanika Patel, will be telling us whether we should blame our horoscope.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tanika Patel, and the topic I will be addressing you about is why we blame our horoscope when things go wrong. I was born on Monday, 24th February 2008. According to the celestial positioning of the planets, I have a Gemini rising, Moon in Sagittarius, and Sun in Pisces. Whilst I believe that this makes me a fun, free, dreamy girl who spreads love and laughter wherever I go. The naysayers might argue that this makes me naughty, mischievous, and irresponsible. They would also state that being an Aries makes someone temperamental, Taurus makes for a stubborn streak, and Gemini has a double personality disorder. Cancer is moody, Leo tends to be bossy, and Virgo likes to control. Riva suffers from indecisiveness. Scorpio acts secretive, and Sagittarius displays reckless behavior. Capricorn can be brutal, and Aquarius is rumored to be rebellious. So the next time you encounter a person with road rage in traffic, shall we all agree that they are in Aries? Or that the insensitive Libran customer could not help being born in early October? Do we allow our sibling to stay cooped up in their room because they are having one of their Cancerian mood spells? Do you allow your friend to take the lead in all situations to feed their bossy Leo needs? Can you relate to having an Aquarian in your mind who likes to bend or break all of the rules? Since time is memorable, the greater sentient populace has used various modalities to try and fully comprehend what makes human beings think, act, or communicate the way that they do. There are also many disciplines that can be used to predict why things go wrong. The weather forecast, and definitely the odds in gambling. But still the most popular choice will always be astrology. In the ancient Indian Vedic system, astrology was used to predict when to get married, as well as when was the optimal time to conceive. So if we are allowed to choose the personalities of our parents, partners, and children based on astrology, why can't we blame astrology for when things go wrong? In understanding the astrological makeup of our fellow humans, their particular shortcomings, ill habits, and failure to integrate successfully into society, we can choose to blame these limitations on their horoscope. Or you can do as I do and choose to emphasize that I, for example, am a caring, joyful, and optimistic girl, commonly known as Pisces. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Yusuf Jagat, will be telling us more about humor.
Good day, everyone. My name is Yusuf Chagot, and I'll be presenting a speech on humor. Before writing the speech, I wrote what makes us human. I realized that topic was ridiculous. I barely knew what the heck I was talking about, and it even made me question, am I human? It's a good thing that topic was scrapped, or else I may have started calling myself a robot. But one thing I learned from writing that speech was how to humor. I did forget how to word during the process. Humor is an interesting topic. Perhaps someone should speak about it. Maybe do a speech. Oh, there's nobody? Fine, I'll do it myself. Humor is interesting. Laughter is something we've all experienced. Laughter is one thing, humor is another. Laughter is the action of people laughing. Wow, yes, amazing, word of thought. Humor, on the other hand, is more like a skill. It's the ability to make people laugh. You can't just learn how to be humorous. It's not that simple. It's a God-given gift that you're born with. You can either tell jokes or you are the joke. Humor has an acquired taste, and unless you're Trevor Noah, Riyad Musa, or me, you're not going to make everyone laugh. Everyone has different tastes in humor. Some prefer sarcasm and quick wit. Others prefer regular old memes, Facebook mothers like minion memes, and nobody likes dad jokes. That may not be entirely true, but what the heck, this entire speech is about humor. Oh, and we can't forget about some good old dirty jokes. No matter what jokes or what type of humor you practice, they all have one thing in common, the punchline, not like the one waiting for me outside. It's the part of the joke where the joke part comes into play. It's like when you're baking and you finally get to the baking part. Humor and baking have a lot in common if you think about it. They can both make people happy, make them cringe, or kill people. Both also have variants. If you like your chocolate like you like your humor, you're a great person, unless you like light chocolate. Humor can often be distracting, and sometimes a distraction is just what you need. So get off your device, go outside, touch some grass, listen to your friends' scrappy jokes, and if you get a rash on your ear, it's an allergic reaction to all of the nonsense that they say. But that's how friends are. They're there during the good and the bad times. And if they're not there anymore, you probably took your schizophrenia meds. But if they're still there for you, you know you found a real friend. And you know they're a real friend if they get on your nerves on purpose. At least that's the case with guys. With girls, you don't know whether they're coming or going, whether they're there for you or whether they're looking for tea. Girl, if you want tea, I'm sure your boyfriend will make some nice Earl Grey. He'll even feed you brownies. Good jokes are always slightly offensive, and unfortunately, people can't take a light-hearted joke. They'll say, that joke was incredibly disrespectful. You can't disrespect XXXXXY community like that. This is the problem, and it's getting worse every generation. And there's more people like this every generation. If we try and make jokes that nobody takes offense to, then eventually we won't have good humor anymore. Learn to take a light-hearted joke and be happy in life. And as long as you're happy and everyone around you is happy, what else matters? Humor feeds our need to be happy. And if you're feeling down, go to a friend or family member and ask them to tell you a joke. But also let them remind you about all of the good times in life, because you'll always feel better if you remember the good times and crack a joke. Dear South Africans and other people, my message to you is humor, laughter, and jokes won't fix everything, but I can guarantee you that they will make things better. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Haley Oliphant, is here to tell us more about endangering the natural environment.
Good day to my respected teacher and educator. Good day to my respected educator and friends. Today I have chosen to explore the topic of endangering the natural environment. Statistics released by the World Wildlife Foundation show that 73.54% of the world's natural environment has been destroyed. If we do not stop, the rest of the 30% will truly be non-existent. Around the globe, human activity has destroyed the natural environment. In the vast and mysterious Amazon, every day hectares of land are burned, felled, or cleared by bulldozers to make way for man-made malls and housing. In the depths of the rainforest, like the Democratic Republic of Congo and Sierra Leone, the conflicts between the forest militia men and the rebels have caused the population of the silverback gorillas to diminish. The homes of these majestic creatures have been unjustly violated. The elephants of Maasai Mara are in danger. Elephants are said to eat approximately 600 pounds of vegetation a day and graze for around 16 hours a day, barely sleeping. These foragers have found scarce and lump vegetation to dine on, barely enough to sustain their daily dietary requirements. How sad it is that the species Panthera, commonly known to man as lion, has been hunted for canned lion meat and poached for his trophy head, savagely trapped because he has become a threat to livestock. Humans have destroyed Panthera's natural habitat, yet he himself has to pay for our deliberate violent acts. The oceans have become hotbeds for hooks and nets, plastic bags and cans. Every natural habitat of the sea and marine life has been marginalized to nothingness. Indeed, it is tragic and brutal. As long as humanity exists, wildlife will be endangered and feared. There is no way out for these beautiful, innocent creatures, is there? You might argue that many organizations, wildlife centers, and sanctuaries have made an attempt to saving these creatures. Unfortunately, their attempts prove to be feeble. It is said by the year 2050, the world's natural environment will be a fraction of what it once was. The natural habitat of Panthera and serpentine will be destroyed. Cold, hard facts that we as humans are contributing to. My question to you is, what is a fish without a river? What is a bird without a tree to nest in? What is a lion without its roar? And what is an elephant without its tusks? It is nothing. When will we realize that we are not the only inhabitants of planet Earth? We share it with many other species. They do not endanger us. They allow us to thrive. We should do the same, shouldn't we? The current rapid rate of diversity loss will allow our grandkids to see elephants only as Google images. Let us collectively work together to progress, protect, and secure the future of every God-given species gifted to Earth. I want my kids to walk barefoot amongst the smooth pebbles of the streams of Earth. I want them to hear the thunder of the ocean and the bear testimony that the great white and silverback once graced Earth. I want my kids to hear the hiss of the anaconda and the trumpet of the elephant. After all, a great Indian chief once said, and I quote, "When the last tree is cut, the last river is poisoned, and the last fish caught, then we will remember that we cannot eat money. Allow that to ring deep and wide." Thank you.
Our next speaker, Farah Mayat, will be telling us what is humanity.
Greed is taking over humanity. What is humanity? Over the past few weeks, this word has become a cliched slogan. At the top of 80% of TikTok videos have become a trend in some way for social influencers to end off their story with hashtag where is humanity. So on my bored days, I decided to enlighten myself with what this country is going on about. I decided to ask Google, what is humanity? According to Google, it goes by definition, the state of being humane. Thanks, Google. I forgot you don't always simplify my life. I immediately typed out, what does humane mean? And to my disappointment, the reality of realizing that I live in a country that is not human set me off. I know for a fact that I do not decide myself from aliens, but my life, which blindly revolves around social media, alienated me from the reality of barbarism.
The current unfathomable state of my country has actually allowed for my mind to be interested in something other than the irrelevant stories of complete strangers on the internet. At the age of 15, I'm sure most of you can agree with me that the most important thing in life was whether your phone was fully charged or the amount of Instagram followers that escalated overnight, which brought out the most ecstatic feeling ever. My dear classmates, this is a reality check that struck a chord in my brain that brought out the worst fears in me. My social media addicted brain has suddenly perceived that the world that I live in has been reduced to flames. My beautiful country, which I know and loved and felt a certain attachment to, has become nothing but a place of retaliation and dismay. What was the reason for this barbarism? What would make an entire country believe that destruction was the answer, or violence was the key to the door to one's insecurities being attended to? These questions made me realize that humanity is not a trait that needs to be inherited, but more a trait that needs to be taught in order to have that ability to want to make a difference to those around. In life, we all have choices, irrespective of your background, upbringing, or cultural circumstances. And yes, living in your own comfort zone, addicted to social media, or any type of technological device is the key to self-happiness, and the only way to divorce ourselves from the reality. But if we want to have a better future for us to enjoy, we need to create happiness and admit the uncertainty and hope that it will have a ripple effect on the future. Thank you.
Our next contestant, Shreya Laird, will be talking to us about social media.
Good day to one and all. Today, I will be talking to you about something that is impacting today's generation in a positive as well as in a negative way. What is social media? Social media are interactive technologies that facilitate the creation of information and ideas and other forms of expressions through communities and networks. What is wrong with social media? The more time that we spend on social media could lead to cyberbullying, social anxiety, depression, etc. Social media is addicting. I'm pretty sure we all can relate. But that's not all. Because social media is full of mood-modifying experiences, such as the fear of missing out. Everything that we see on social media isn't how it seems. You may always find yourself wondering, why isn't your life like all these social media influencers? Most of the time, their life is nothing compared to what you see. You wonder, why isn't your life as perfect as theirs? Social media causes a lot of young teenage girls and boys to be insecure. It makes them wonder, why can't their life be as good as others? Social media sets high expectations to people of all ages, some people knowing that they can achieve it, and some people knowing that they cannot. Social media puts a lot of unrealistic pressure on young developing teenagers to look a certain way. For example, your body needs to be flawless, your skin should be acne-free, you should wear branded clothes or shoes, etc. Social media has its own pros and cons. Pros being setting goals that you would want to achieve in the future, building on certain relationships, etc. And cons being you feeling forced to achieve those goals. Social media also affects the mental health of a lot of people, sometimes causing anxiety and depression. Social media can be a good or a bad thing, depending on if we use or abuse it. So let us do it the right way. Thank you.
Shailen Joseph is up next to tell us more about teen space.
We are meant to be as playful as the planets, shining as the stars, amazing as the asteroids, spectacular as the spaceships, and for us guys, mesmerized by the galaxy of girls. But today, as Lieutenant Commander, I will lead you all on a special mission. Are you all ready? Fasten your seatbelts as we begin a liftoff into a voyage of space to the unknown, uninhabited, undiscovered, aboard the shuttle called Teen Space. Good day, one and all. Do you all remember what the first man on the moon, Neil Armstrong, said? One small step for man, but one giant leap for mankind. That's exactly how I feel about the transformation from childhood into teenhood. It's a giant leap which requires genuine guidance, but also an antidote of space. Presently, we are in the midst of teen world and find ourselves in the Milky Way of life, where space is needed to discover ourselves as separate beings from our families. It is a valuable growing space that needs to be respected. We hear that raising a teen may be a difficult and challenging task for even the best of parents. But on the other hand, being a teen is just as daunting. When we graduate into this high school of life, we are suddenly immersed into seeking and finding our own identity. Therefore, we need our boundaries to venture out and create our own identity. At this crazy and rocket-launching juncture in life, we may have to conquer the fiery cosmic rays of negativity and the entrapment of negative influences as we airlift into an atmosphere of space to discover our identities and independence. Like the moon that orbits the Earth, we are surrounded by many challenges that require a satellite of silence to delve into our space. These light years of time is used to reflect and regenerate our thoughts and emotions, and annihilate the enemy of criticism and mockery during this turbulent travel of teenhood. Yes, we are part of the human race, but we stand out as teens, sometimes appearing like aliens. But we are an extraordinary species, craving the components of a space launch system, for which I use the acronym STEM. Space, time, energy, and it matters. Next, we jet off and accelerate into integral components of being immersed in one space. Someone once said, "You are who you choose to be." Remember, you cannot truly be successful in life if you are truly not yourself. Don't try to fit into the world around you. Rather, be yourself and allow the right people to fit into your world. If you are different, be different, and adorn yourself with the spacesuit of uniqueness and confidence. This mystery and mastery of teen space provides us with ample adventures and enormous escapades, which will result in a medley of memories that will last a lifetime. Remember high school. Teenhood is like the in-flight training plan for the spaceship of real life. Remember, you are the pilot and commander of your own life. Don't hand the steering wheel to a friend or peer. And amidst challenging times like now, we must soar higher and fly stronger with every breath. So I conclude this mission with this. Teen space is our final frontier, as failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue and prevail in the voyage of space that counts. For we are the star fleet of the future. What do you think, fellow teens? Does space matter? Thank you.
Our first participant in our next division is Tayeba Hussein, and she will be telling us about modern society, religion, and how we have evolved.
Modern society, religion, and how we've positively evolved. Good day, I, Deva Hussein, would like to discuss something really pertinent for us as the youth who are the up-and-coming leaders of our future society. Number one, modern society. The world is governed by high communication mechanisms, advanced medical technology, and pinnacle education systems, yet we are plagued with corona, mass wars, and high instability. The recent Ukraine-Russia plight highlighted the fact that we are on the brink of World War III. The world is fighting for dominant superpowers, yet majority of the world is left without food and water. Corona highlighted the fact that our medical advances cannot withstand God's supreme power. This brings me to my next topic, religion. As humans, we need to acknowledge the supreme power of God Almighty, Allah, Jesus, Bhagwan, and Buddha. Many have tried questioning and defying the supreme power as well. However, our current situation has shown that we are totally dependent on God's good grace. Why do we get this thrill from aimlessly questioning His plan? Is it because of the desire to show our fellow men that we know better? Or is it because of the desire to show our fellow men that we are better than the Supreme One? I personally am a very big fan of the Big Bang Theory, and the opening song states, "Our whole universe is in a hot, dense state nearly 14 billion years ago, expansion started, wait." The series is filled with intellectual scientists and engineers. However, the plot of the show denotes that their ultimate happiness comes from their social interactions. We have subconsciously become humans with very little social interaction and have become complacent with social media interactions. However, I view this as a development, contrary to what my dad views them as. In my view, different strokes for different folks or different eras. As youngsters, I'm confident that we've heard adults say that in my time or in my era, life was so much better, or they refer to it as the good old days. Nevertheless, we are happy focusing on what we deem as essential: our careers, our education, our families, our essential social circles, and most importantly, our connection with God Almighty. Hindsight is defined as the best way or foresight. So, in essence, in 20 years from now, we would be telling our kids that our lives are better, and they would be telling their kids that their lives are better. So, when clearing out my granny's cupboards, I found letters with stamps. I fondly remember how she used to reminisce and how she used to wait for the postman's delivery. She spoke of the story so fondly and like it was God sent. Now, for our brains to fathom this wait sounds unnatural. In my humble view, technology has made us lose simple, effective values like humility, patience, and good manners. Why? Is this God's punishment, or have we evolved? Okay, so let me be optimistic and say we have evolved. My fellow friends who have chosen history in discussion with me have spoken about eras where people existed without light, Wi-Fi, and cell phones, yet they were happy. They managed to put an average lifespan far larger than our current norm, with an entourage and a vision to create a future that is better for younger ones. So my concluding line would be, happiness is based on vision, not on current contemporary society. We need to become ourselves visionary leaders who aim to progress in every sphere of life and make our parents, teachers, and forefathers proud. Respect the elders and life will be better. Thank you.
Mihal Jivraj, our next speaker, is here to tell us how bad company corrupts good models.
People always say that bad company corrupts good models. These words have never really applied to me, or so I thought. The truth is that who you allow in your time will shape your life. Your friends can challenge you to achieve things that you would have never imagined, but if you allow them to, they can also cripple your dreams. This is definitely not a call to cut ties with any friends who exhibits any of the following qualities, but everyone in here should definitely take some time to think about who you allow to control your life. The perfect friend does not exist, but you should not be letting these types of people be the primary influence in your life. Friends are those people who either tell you what you want to hear or what you should hear. Who do you think will be a better friend? Personally, I feel as though people who tell you what you want to hear are people who love you and want you to succeed and will point out your inconsistencies. They don't enjoy doing this, but with all the love they have, they step into a difficult conversation, and because they cannot stand to let you watch you go down a difficult path that could lead to your destruction. Or as Francis Chan once said, our greatest fear should not be of failure, but of succeeding in things in life that do not really matter. So back to our topic. What do you understand by bad company corrupts good morals? Well, we all know that good company are friends who never leave your side and help you decipher between right and wrong. They will never betray you, but most of all, they will put a smile on your face on days that you never thought you would. But bad company, on the other hand, is much more difficult than it may appear. There's a quote that reads, "You get loved for being fake and hated for being real." And I find this to be personally very unfair to the fact that good morals are stripped from such innocent people. This happens because our generation sells their souls to the gods of attention and spotlight, and this leads to the deterioration of their wealth and value. We are all taught from a very young age to always love and accept the person we are. And yet we grow up and forget this and set our hearts on pleasing other people's opinions. We live in a world where cynicism is the pasture of the majority. Our good morals start deteriorating, and we allow because we feel that we need to satisfy other people's expectations and fit into the group. So we feel that it is only ethical to follow others. Due to this, it leads to us refusing to take and accept responsibility for our own actions. We all have reached a point in our life where making a bad decision what happens on a daily basis. And a mistake isn't really a mistake if you keep doing it repeatedly. Yet it is never too late to change that. From my perspective, negative people are extremely exhausting, and it's quite abnormal to find someone who looks at the world through a positive lens. Associate yourself with people of good quality. I will leave you with a quote by George Washington, who once said, "It is much better to be alone than in bad company." So ask yourself, have your friends impacted the person you are today? And if so, are you truly happy with the person you see in the mirror? Thank you.
Milano Ramaya is here to tell us more about meme cultures.
Memes. Typically images juxtaposed with other images, words, or phrases. Good day. Today I am Milano Ramaya here to tell you more on meme culture. They are on Facebook. They are everywhere. They have taken over the internet, inspiring national media coverage and inciting major political movements. Memes are a map into the internet culture. Undoubtedly, memes are as diverse as they are pervasive. From the text combined with one image, illustration or GIF, and more, they look into everyday meme as a consistently in a flux, in advancing the potential of memes in a qualitative research. I want to draw your attention and your imagination to the content images, such as an example of memes introducing words like Yas Queen and noise. Back in 2008, most people had no idea what a meme was. We were totally clueless. We spent our early days in a 5 by 16-foot room, sitting next to our laptops, illuminated by the glow of their screens. We would lurk in as many places as the internet as we could, trying to understand what people were talking about, what was catching people's attention and what wasn't. Cheese, a 44-year-old from the South Bronx, the dude who invented memes, told his family that he was an internet enthusiast. They didn't ask too many questions. In the early days of the modern internet, memes were created and passed around on a small handful of websites, like Instagram, Twitter. Before this, all they had were your mom jokes. Muscle men would agree. Memes were the inside jokes only known to individuals who frequented the internet. To make the content more accessible, Know Your Meme, a company who deployed a small amount of volunteers to recover memes from every corner of the deep dark web. The website has a lot of people in on the joke, providing essential content. From guys checking out girls and cats taking over the internet. Cheese didn't agree but argued that memes and his website served a much, much larger purpose. The internet is an architecturally so different than any other media form that came before it. Examples are TV, radio, newspapers. All those informations only flowed one way, like a highway. The ideas that were shared among the masses were determined by a small group of editorial people. But it's the crowd that decides what pulls a meme further out. A database of popular memes offers a roadmap to what people actually find interesting and what they don't. Some of them find it to be funny, delightful, or disturbing. He sees Know Your Meme as a kind of time capsule. If future generations can see what went viral in 2022, which memes stirred up enough emotion to compel us to share them, like the current events of where Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Memes, Cheese says, offer a particularly deep insight into human behavior. It displays how the human mind evolves to interpret a picture by just the click of a finger. It has often gone through hundreds of iterations. Users will have added slightly different taglines to the original image, like stand-up comedian defines a joke. I may see a joke several times before I say, this is the one that makes me want to share it with my friends. So I ask you today, before you share your next meme, please think about its background. Thank you.
Mohammed Reis Amanji would like to tell us how to change the world.
How many of you believe that we on Earth could achieve peace? Believe that humans could interact harmoniously and coexist with the environment in a mutualistic way? Believe that our species could achieve an unprecedented level of stability and tolerance? Who believes that this can ever be possible? Well, what if I told you that this could never be possible? Because unfortunately, it can't be. It is both unrealistic and naive to think that the world will ever be able to achieve a utopian state. The very existence of man breeds uncertainty. Uncertainty leads to anxiety. Anxiety leads to trepidation. Trepidation leads to confusion. And confusion ultimately is the mother of chaos. Inevitable indeed is the degradation of man's soul, the imbalance in society, and the instability of our planet. It is therefore my aim and my duty today to inform you on a pragmatic approach on how to change the world. Allow me to divulge the topic of choice. You want to change the world? Fine. In order to improve something, you have to understand it. Understanding the world lies in understanding the inhabitants of the world. We must therefore delve into the psyche of human beings. Human beings are usually governed by two things: belief and fear. These are the only two abstracts that exist within every single individual on the planet. Nobody can be absent of either. If your beliefs triumph over your fears, then you are optimistic. And if you are optimistic, you are easily manipulated. If your fears control you, then you are pessimistic. But if you are pessimistic, you are easily manipulated. It was the same duo of feelings that Adolf Hitler used to turn the entire world against itself, yet at the same time making everybody believe that they were fighting the just cause. This is what he said: make the lie big, make it simple, keep telling it, and eventually they will believe it. It may seem that all hope is lost. However, if you add a third ingredient to the mix, you create a whole new type of cake. If you have the ability to be pragmatic, impassioned, but at the same time solicitous, you become a whole new species. If you are a realist, then you have no fears. You cannot lose anything because by definition, the realist has nothing to lose. You become firm and incorrigible. You become invincible. Okay, so now we understand how people work. But this is where the tricky bit comes in. Because the world isn't just made up of people, it's made up of groups of people. Billions of groups of people together. And billions of people together create societies. Each society has their own set of beliefs and fears. And societies develop into bureaucracies. Bureaucracies become countries. Countries become kingdoms. And these kingdoms view the realist as a threat, because they don't really accept the fact that you are invincible, so to say. So they will work effortlessly yet so efficiently to drown your cries in order to protect the system that they have created. The system in which the rich of intellect and understanding stay rich and the poor stay poor. This system is unbreakable. It is designed to manipulate, to delude, to indoctrinate, to mold men's very souls into mere chess pieces so that they can be moved around, so that they can be used, so that they can be controlled, and if necessary, so that they can be exterminated. That is how the world works. It's easy to understand, but even easier to misunderstand. That is why people are locked in a state of uncertainty. They are afraid of change. They cannot progress because of their fears. They cannot regress because of their beliefs, so they are stuck. And if you really give it thought, stuck between what? Stuck between absolutely nothing. People are stuck between mere illusions. Those in power remain in power simply because they understand the system of the world for what it is. They know how and when to exploit it in order to gain maximum benefit. The rest of the world follows blindly because the rest of the world has never been taught to ask questions. Right, so now we understand fully how the world works. But why is the world so messed up? Simple question, simple answer. The world only has one problem: greed. Greed for food is gluttony. Greed for money is miserliness. Greed for attention is jealousy. Greed for strength is violence. Greed for power is war. Man was created greedy just as he was created with fear and belief. Greed is the reason for the system that the world has created. It is the one thing that man cannot control. A man cannot protect his own desires, let alone the desires of others. And a man who follows his desires is a blind, inconsiderate, ruthless, and dangerous man. A world full of such men cannot progress, since it lacks the ability to be convicted and the opportunity to be set on a better path. Enough about problems. Let's make solutions. I ask you, how do we change the world? I'm going to give you the answer bluntly. You can't. You can't change the world. Nobody can change the world. The world is too vast to be improved as a whole. You cannot break the cycle which your very existence has played a part in creating. The only thing you can do is get out of the game. Don't contribute further to the sordid destruction of humanity. Change the rules. Play your own game. Live a life of consideration. Show respect, empathy, compassion. Forgive, understand, be selfless. These are divine qualities and these are lacking in our environment. If you want to make the world a better place, you need to make yourself a better person. You cannot change people, but you can inspire. You can educate. You can love in a way that motivates people to be more than just chess pieces. You can initiate change through your character, your interactions with people. Be kind, because everybody deserves kindness. Be respectful, because everybody wants respect. Show empathy without being intrusive. Be confident without being arrogant. Give people something to look up to. That's how you change the world. You start with yourself, you go full circle, and you end with yourself. Remember one final and crucial fact. This life is temporary, and so are your efforts. Some people strive for a legacy because they want to be remembered. Be better than that. Strive for change, and you will be appreciated. I leave you with a quote by Jalaluddin Rumi, and I feel that it sums up my speech. He said, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself."
Teenagers need to be more aware of the effects of global warming. Need to instant message? Here, WhatsApp me. Want to tweet something funny? Here's my Twitter handle. We have access to all these social medias, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, so why aren't we educated enough on global warming? Some of us teenagers think global warming is when a hot babe walks inside this classroom and heats up the whole room. Unfortunately, no, that's not global warming. Are we as arrogant as Donald Trump to think global warming is just a hoax? Or should I quote him? Fake news, fake news. No, global warming is here. It's real, and it isn't getting any better. Teenagers are the leaders of tomorrow. That's why it's so important for us to be educated on global warming. So next time, before reposting the meme of Will Smith smacking the life out of Chris Rock, try reposting something we can do to prevent or slow down global warming. Because like I said, teenagers are the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
There is our first speaker in our category for impromptu speech. Our next speaker is Saida Sitar with Money Making the World Go Round.
Money makes the world go around. The best politics is right action, Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah, take the money, run away, and if I need you, I'll call you. Oh, we often hear, my fellow South Africans. Oh, we need 157 million, 170 million, 55
No, we need 179,501. No. Okay, you get the point. South African is very corrupt. As South Africans, we will do anything to do any extent for money, whether it's going to ShopRite to steal a one rand thing or going to Gucci to steal one item that costs hundreds and millions of rands. During lockdown, I know lots of people that used to go and get cigarettes through the borders illegally and cost like 50 rands for one pack. That's crazy. They would do anything, and it was illegal. Lots of them would sell illegal stuff for one day to last them a day, just to go back there and get something else. That's just madness. Thank you.
Mohammed Isa Manchi will be telling us about how juvenile delinquency is a problem in South Africa.
Juvenile delinquency is a serious problem in South Africa. The standard of behavior and the ideologies of current generations is without a doubt a far cry from that of our predecessors. This is mainly due to the fact that currently there is a short supply of good role models. Our ethics and ideals have deteriorated mainly within our
Teenagers need to be more aware of the effects of global warming. Need to instant message? Here, WhatsApp me. Want to tweet something funny? Here's my Twitter handle. We have access to all these social medias, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, so why aren't we educated enough on global warming? Some of us teenagers think global warming is when a hot babe walks inside this classroom and heats up the whole room. Unfortunately, no, that's not global warming. Are we as arrogant as Donald Trump to think global warming is just a hoax? Or should I quote him? Fake news, fake news. No, global warming is here. It's real, and it isn't getting any better. Teenagers are the leaders of tomorrow. That's why it's so important for us to be educated on global warming. So next time, before reposting the meme of Will Smith smacking the life out of Chris Rock, try reposting something we can do to prevent or slow down global warming. Because like I said, teenagers are the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
There is our first speaker in our category for impromptu speech. Our next speaker is Saida Sattar with Money Making the World Go Round.
Money makes the world go around. The best politics is right action, Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah, take the money, run away, and if I need you, I'll call you. Oh, we often hear, my fellow South Africans, oh, we need 157 million, 170 million 55, no, we need 179 million 501, no. Okay, you get the point. South African is very corrupt. As South Africans, we will do anything to do any extent for money, whether it's going to ShopRite to steal a one rand thing or going to Gucci to steal one item that costs hundreds and millions of rands. During lockdown, I know lots of people that used to go and get cigarettes through the borders illegally and cost like 50 rands for one pack. That's crazy. They would do anything, and it was illegal. Lots of them would sell illegal stuff for one day to last them a day, just to go back there and get something else. That's just madness. Thank you. Thank you.
We will now be having our award ceremony for all our participants who did outstandingly well. They have all achieved more than just positions today. We are proud of them as they have made their school proud and they have made themselves proud. So well done to all our participants. We will start off with Division 5, Mulemo Matlosa. Well done. Shahil Suban. Talha Umar. Kiran Padyachi. And Tanika Patel. These were our participants for Division 5, the grade 8s. Our most promising speaker in this division was Mulemo Matlosa. The third position goes to Shahil Suban. Second position goes to Tanika Patel. And our first position goes to Talha Umar. Our next division were the grade 9s and 10s. Our first contestant was Yusuf Jagat. Haley Oliphant. Farah Mayat. Shriya Laird. Shailen Joseph. Nabiha Ismail and Arti Vallabh. The most promising speaker in this division goes to Arti Vallabh. Third position, Shriya Laird. Second position goes to Nabiha Ismail. And the first position goes to Shaylin Joseph. Our last division, which were the grade 11s and 12s, our first contestant was Tayeba Hussein. Isan Mohammed, Nihal Jivraj, Milano Ramaya, Mohammad Reis Amanji, Nureen Ismail, Isha Gularam, Isha, is a photo okay for you? Saida Sattar and Ruqayya Abdul Jabbar. The most promising speaker in this division is Nihal Jivraj. Third position, Mohammad Reis Amanji. Second position, Nureen Ismail. And first position, Ruqayya Abdul Jabbar. Smile, boy. Okay, thank you all. You can go back to class.